Hi, my name is Alex. I'm going to be your social worker this morning.
Hey, Alex.
What's your name?
My name is Dustin.
It's so nice to meet you, Dustin. I'm
Nice.
glad you're here today.
Oh, nice to meet you too.
Before we get started, I just want to let you know everything you say today is going to be confidential, with the exception of if you tell me you're going to hurt yourself or someone else and any instances of abuse. That's when I will break confidentiality. Do you understand?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, great. Well, let's get started. So, what brings you in here?
Well, I was in prison for a long time and I got out a few months ago. And my probation officer suggested that I come here. I just really I just want to continue to be a better person, and I don't know, I guess just change for the better. And I don't know, I feel like drinking and doing drugs has been something that I struggled with in the past. And, I get really worried and like that not gonna be able um, to stay away from that, and I don't want to go back to jail. And I know that's a very, I'm just having a hard time transitioning.
Okay, well, I think you have some positive goals, and that'll give us something good to work with. So let's talk about a couple of basics first. Where are you living currently?
I live in a halfway house.
And can you tell me a little bit about it?
Sure can. That halfway house it is bullshit. It's a place to sleep, I guess, but the people are a little shady. Um, the food sucks. I just, I wish I had my own place with roommates, but I just, I'm at where I'm at right now, and I have to deal with it.
Okay, I understand. And what are some other challenges that you face there?
I guess just being around these shady people, and some of them are doing drugs, and some of them are, I feel like just like it would be easy for me to get into a place where I could go back to drinking and getting fucked up.
Okay. Um, where do you go during the day? Are you there most of the day, or do you have somewhere to go like work?
I work, yeah, I go to work.
Where are you working?
I work at Arby's.
Okay, and tell me about Arby's. Are you liking that?
Arby's is okay. I love Arby's food.
Okay, and what are the challenges working there? Have you found any yet?
Yeah, I mean, I just my manager's a little punk bitch, but he's always looking at me because of my tattoos, and I think he knows I was incarcerated. And the kids are super young that I work with, um, and they always want to party. Um, so I guess those are probably the challenges. I mean,
Well, I'm sorry to hear that work sounds like it's a little bit challenging right now. Just to cover some other basics, I want to make sure that you have access to basic necessities such as food, balanced meals, toiletries, clean clothes. Sometimes that can be an issue for people who are recently released from jail.
yes.
You have all of those things?
Yeah, the house provides me a lot of food. It sucks, but I could, I get food at work.
Okay.
I just steal it.
Okay. Well, okay. And how do you get places? How are you getting to work and to your appointments?
Um, I walk. I walk and I take the bus.
Okay. And how is taking the bus and walking working for you?
The bus sucks. Um, you know, I don't like the bus. It's kind of, it's hard to get places, Walking, I like skipping.
Okay.
So I get to skip.
So it sounds like the bus is working for you as well as walking and skipping.
It is, I'd like to have a car.
Well, that's a good goal to have. We can talk about that later. Right now, I'd like to get into how you've been feeling since you have been released from jail. Are you feeling sad or happy? What's going on?
I feel, I don't know. I guess it could be difficult, like I don't feel great. I feel okay, just because like I'm overwhelmed. been really hard to transition, and I'm a little depressed. I have a lot of emotions, um, and I think I just need help. Like getting on my feet. I don't have a lot of people to help
Okay.
me.
Has that always been an issue? Have you always been feeling depressed, or is this just coming from the recent release?
I think I've always had some sort of depression. I don't know how bad it's been. It's just weird to be out.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how to deal with it, and I don't have like in jail. There's all these people with me, and now there's not.
Okay. And so are you saying that you didn't feel this way while you were incarcerated?
Not completely.
Okay. And are you doing anything to help cope with these feelings?
Not like drugs, but no,
No.
no. So I used drugs in the past a little bit to cope. I don't. Like I think that's really why I was arrested. In the past, it's just being doing drugs. So
Are you still using drugs to cope?
no, not right now.
And are you doing anything to cope with the cravings to use substances?
I mean, I smoke like a chimney.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, I don't know what you would call coping. I mean, yeah, not really. No.
Okay. Well, I think it's great that you're able to curb those substance cravings. And if you have to smoke to do that, then that's going to be what works. Let's move on to your family. You mentioned that while you were incarcerated, you felt like you had a lot of friends there and a lot of support within the jail. And you said that you don't feel like you have that on the outside. Do you have anybody in your family that you're close to?
No. Besides my son,
How old is your son?
I guess my son is 10. Yeah, I think he's 10 or 11.
Okay.
The only reason I don't know that is because I'm not a good father and I should know his age and I want to become a really good father.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my goals.
Great.
So I think he's 10 or 11.
Okay. And have you been able to see him since you've been released?
Yeah, a few times. I've skipped to him.
Okay. So you skip, and have you been able to take the bus to him as well?
Um, I have taken the bus to him a couple of times.
How does that work?
Um, it's hard. I have to take the 10 to the 5 to the 6.
Okay. Well, at least you're still making that effort to get there and see him. And, if you reach your goal of getting a car, then it'll be easier to see him.
Yes.
So you don't have any other family that you're close to? How about your son's mother? How is that relationship?
I would not call that close.
Okay.
She's a fucking bitch.
Okay. So you don't really have any support from there.
No.
Do you have any friends who support you?
I guess, but they're not really supportive. They're more bad. They're bad influences. I wouldn't want to hang out with them on a regular basis only because I feel that they'll get me in trouble, or I'll get in trouble from hanging out with them.
Okay.
I don't want to get in trouble again.
Well, I think that sounds like a good choice. You're making good choices.
Thank you.
So it sounds like you're making a conscious decision to stay away from friends who could be a bad influence. So what do you do in your spare time when you're not working or with your son? How do you relax and unwind?
Well, I mean, I guess I'm just skeptical to say, like relax and unwind. I guess I just like watch TV. I like to go to Asian massage parlors,
Okay.
enjoy getting massage there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now I would be interested in learning a little bit about your legal history. I know that you are recently released from incarceration. How many times have you been arrested, and how many times have you been incarcerated?
Well, throughout my life, it's been like 5 times probably, that I've been arrested. This last time I was in jail for 10 years, or 9 years. My son was 9, or was 1. jail. Yeah, so 9 years.
Okay.
I, I was arrested for robbery this last time. I got drunk and thought it would be a good idea to um, rob some drug dealers, and didn't work out too well.
I see. Do you have any current legal issues? I know that you're on probation and you have to meet with a parole officer, but is there anything else that you're going through legally? Are you still in court or anything like that?
Um, no.
Don't have any pending legal charges going on right now because I think that's going to really give us a chance for a fresh start so we can think of some goals for you.
Great.
Okay. And just before we finish up with the questions, I wanted to check in about one last thing about your education history. What was the highest grade you've completed?
Well, I went to high school till 11th grade, but then dropped out. But
Okay.
when I was in prison, I got my GED.
Oh, that's great. So you have your GED right now?
I do.
Excellent. I think that's going to be great when you're looking for a new job if you decide to go that route.
I want to get education.
Okay, so you think you want to go back to school?
I do.
Excellent. That's a great goal to have. And that leads me perfectly into the next questions I want to ask you. I want to talk about your strengths a little bit. I'm already seeing a great strength in you, the fact that you came here to get help and try to meet your goals. I want to hear what strengths you think you have.
What strengths do I have?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say that I'm strong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really good at pinochle.
Okay.
When I sold drugs, I was really good at it, so I'm really business minded.
Oh, excellent.
And I could. I don't know. I don't have a lot. I don't know a lot of things that I'm good at.
Well, I think that's a great start right there, especially that you're business minded and you want to get an education. That's great. That's a great place to jump off from.
Mm-hmm.
And what are 3 areas that you wish to improve on in your life?
Oh, I'm so socially awkward, that I want to work on my people skills. Um, I would like to get an education like I talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I know that that is something that will help me to not go back to prison, if I have an education. Um, I guess I just want to be a really good role model for my son. I haven't been the best dad.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess just be happy and get over my depression that I've struggled with.
Okay. This all sounds great. And right now, I would love for us to make some goals before the next time we meet. Would you like to make some goals?
Let's
So,
do
what are
it.
the goals that you've come up with, Dustin?
Well, I really would like to get a car. Because I love skipping, but I think just driving would be so much better, and just to get my license back and to have a car would be fucking amazing.
Okay.
My other goal, I think, is probably to enroll in college. I want to go to the JC.
Okay.
I know that's gonna help me in my future to stay out of prison. I feel like that's a big step. I'm scared, I'm nervous, but I think if I do it, I could do it. I don't think we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. This is tough one. Maybe
How about something relating to your sobriety?
yeah, that's smart. Maybe I could go to AA meetings or NA meetings. What about going to 4 or something and trying to do that? I don't know. I think 4 is a good number.
Okay. Do you think that's a
Try to do
doable
that.
number?
I think so.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think 4 is a great number to start with, and you can increase it or decrease it as necessary, but let's start with 4.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have any other goals?
Maybe just to get healthy.
Mm-hmm. And how do you plan on doing that?
I plan on going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
walking,
Mhm.
skipping, and I want to eat healthier. It's hard because there's not a lot of healthy food.
Mhm.
So like I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but I'd like to eat healthier.
Okay. I think that sounds great. So I think by our next time meeting, these are all really great goals. Let's I'm going to give you a little bit of homework and let's try to find an AA meeting and an NA meeting in your area that you can go to. And I would love for you to go to at least one each before we meet next time. And I can help you find some that are around your sober living house, and that'll be easy for you to get to. And then maybe try going to the gym ones. And then I'd love for you to write down how you feel after you do those activities. Do you think going to the gym one time and going to one AA and one NA meeting is doable before we meet next?
Yeah, I think I can do that.
Okay, and then we'll talk about how that helped you.
Yes.
Great. Well, it was so nice to meet you today,
Oh, it was
Dustin.
nice to meet you too. Thank you for this.
Yeah, thank you.